I need you guys to think back to a couple videos ago where I stood right here and said, I'm going to show you the next project. And then I kind of played with you on the next video and took you out to the Jeep, and that was the whole thing, right? But I think it's called foreshadowing, because you are looking at the next project. You've been looking at it for a little while. In this episode of Pugliese Speed Shop, we're actually going to show it to you and get a little work done. Now, when I said the next project, no, guys, I'm not going out and buying a bunch of stuff. I'm done with that. I went down that road, and, well, we got ourselves in a bit of a pickle, all right? Because I've been frustrated having all these projects like half to three quarters done, some of them not even close to that far, but we don't got to rub it in, all right? So I don't want to be frustrated. This is the kind of thing, this hobby is something we do for fun, right? So it should never be, I mean, yes, you're going to get frustrated with some jobs, things that might not go the way you want or something. But if your entire, just looking at all your stuff is frustrating you, you got to change something, guys. So that's what we're doing. We're not going out and getting all sorts of stuff right now. That's the plan for today, all right? What do you think the project was? I mean, this guy we're still driving all the time. It's doing awesome. The weather has hindered that a little bit, but that's all right. We'll get back to it. And she's just resting right now. The next project is actually, guys, I think it was the second video on the channel a couple years ago. The second one ever. My 91 FXR. I'm going to spin you guys around, show you it again, tell you what needs to be done. I think you kind of know, but there's some other things as well. Guys, I just went and looked it up. Episode 2 of Pugliese Speed Shop, FXR Friday. Right here. This guy right here. Minus a dent in the tank. But, guys, it was me putting it together. There's a lot of clips of before I had the channel, of like I put on the mag wheel up front, the 9-spoke here, and went through a lot of other stuff. What else did we do? We cleaned the hell out of it, then we put the side covers on. We changed all the lights, so this way it has like all LEDs. The mirrors went on. A few other things. I'm not 100% sure what else, but yeah, that's when we did all that, and then we had it out on a ride, and then we had actually I'm riding this bike. You see it every episode because I'm riding this bike over the bridge when John stands up on his road glide. Then we had Oysters and Evos with Kevin's FXR, and then we had it sat for a while. We brought it back, and we went on a poker run. We've done quite a few episodes, and every time this bike comes out, the episode they do awesome. So hopefully that happens again, because I could use the views, right? Who couldn't? But you see, it's still looking about the same as it was. We just had it out not too long ago. That's why the helmet's still on it and gloves are still there. But I mention the dent every time, mainly to break Kevin's balls. But that's not the biggest problem right now. The biggest problem is she's not charging. So before we do anything else, we want to get that fixed. And we're going to do a little troubleshooting. So when you're looking at charging issues, there's like three things it could be, right? The battery, the stator, or the voltage regulator. I'm 99.9% sure it's not the battery, mainly because we replaced the battery. If you remember, 2 New Year's ago, all right, I picked up a flat on the road glide. I came back to the shop, got the FXR. I came back to the shop with the road glide on a trailer. Jumped on the FXR, shot out to Cobb Island. It's like 45 minutes, right? after we got out of there, old Wade kind of cursed me and said he didn't feel like pushing that bike, which had never given me a problem before. It fired right up from the shop. I stopped for gas. It fired right up. And then I came out of the restaurant. It was clicking. It was nothing. Pop started, no problem. Rode it back here, half hour, 45 minutes, and dead again. So I read out the battery then, and it read out fine. Actually, it was showing 12 volts. I took it to get it tested. They said it had a dead cell. They conveniently sold me another battery. Maybe that's why I had a dead cell. Yeah. But put it in, it ran fine, and I thought everything was good. It seemed to be charging. Now, I didn't do the whole test thing because I said, well, I was just kind of banking on that being the problem. And then over the summer, we went on a poker run. We got stuck. Same thing. Well, I pop started it, ran home. Actually, we hit it with a jump box because old Wade had one right there. And first Joe, it happened twice. First Joe and then old Wade. And which is a little trick that we get old Wade over here. We might show you how that works. But made it home no problem and charged the battery. The battery has been holding. It's actually February now, and I think I charged it last time in September or something like that, or October. So we should be, I've ridden this bike around. Not the best plan, I guess, but I would charge the battery and just keep it local and come home. And we had no issues there. So the battery seems to be fine, but the first step is to check the battery. So we'll check that, and then we're going to check the stator. I'm hoping that's not it. We're banking on voltage regulator because it's a little easier, if I'm being honest. Why wouldn't I be honest? Why do people say that? All right, let me just check this. All right, guys, this bike has been sitting since October. I haven't started it, nothing. So let's see how this battery's holding up. Lights all come on nice. All right. All right, it's holding a charge. So not the battery. Let's open her up here. We got this. I love this. Look at that, huh? Nice little FXR option there. That's pretty sought after. So is this to make sure things don't, get jacked up. We get the meter. See what we're reading there. All right, guys, got the old meter hooked up there, and we got there 12.71 on a battery. 12.70. Either way, it's over 12, and it's been sitting for since I said October. I want to say November. Either way, guys, a minimum of 4 months. That's not the battery's legit. We're going to check the stator now. I started thinking. I said, you know what? We're going to troubleshoot this system. It's probably best to have the battery fully charged. So even though there's no drain or anything like that, we put on the trickle charger while we're doing the rest of the testing because, we know the charging system doesn't work, so it's probably a good idea. All right, got the meter set up. We got it set to ohms, which is a little horseshoe-looking guy. And right now it's reading an open line. Whenever it connects, see it change numbers, right? Even if it's sitting at 0, it's not an open line. You're checking the stator to make sure there's no cracks in all the spools and stuff in there. So your stator connects right here. Some of the newer bikes, there's like 3 or 4 pins that go. This guy's old 91. So it was just a 2. And because it's a 91 Harley, there's also oil all over it. So let's clean this up a little bit so we get a good reading from here. All right. There we go. So we're just looking for not open line. So we get a connection against the side there. Sometimes you got to move it around a little bit, or right there. Not an open line, guys, right? So just for argument's sake, we'll switch them. I don't know why, because it's the same exact thing, but there you go. Not an open line, kind of right where you want it to be. So all the wires inside the stator are good to go. I think now we got to start it up and make sure the stator's throwing some power. And before we do that, let's keep keep it there. We got to set, get a good ground here. Where is that? There's something right here. Yeah, that'll work. So there's a ground. Now we want it to say open line. Yeah, open line. Move around here. Right now we're checking to make sure nothing's shorted to ground. So if there was a break or something in there and it was shorted to ground, it would do something like that. But it's not. It's staying open line. So we know all the wires in there are good, and we know nothing's shorted to ground. So now we got to fire it up and go ahead and do the same test. Make sure nothing's shorted to ground while it's running. And we're going to want to see some power out here this time. So we're going to actually read for DC power, which is that little guy right there. Why are we so? Well, she got whatever. I don't understand electricity. I just know what I got to do. So I misspoke a little bit, and I'm pretty sure the kid already fixed it on the bottom there. But when we were reading out the stator, you want to be on AC, right? Alternating current. When we read out what was being put at the battery, that was DC direct current. So I mixed it up. Actually, I didn't mix it up. I just totally forgot one of them, but that's fine. I didn't really explain what we were doing at the battery, so we were looking, well, let me explain the whole thing. This way, you understand. We're reading the stator. We're looking for 16 to 20 volts per 1,000 RPM. So it's a little bit hard to do down here by yourself. I haven't even had a kid sighting today, so there's that. But so I just did it by adjusting the throttle. I just richened it up to bring it up there. But so we had what, 21-ish or something like that. And that was just over 1,000 RPM because it kept kind of spiking because it's a Harley and that's what they do. And then when I brought the idle up, it wasn't quite at 2,000 RPM. It was probably like 1,800-ish, but it went up considerably, almost double. So I'm good with that. Telling me that the stator is doing what it's supposed to do. It's reading no open lines. The resistance is at 0, which that's supposed to be like that, and it's moving with the RPM. So it's statoring. All right. If you notice, when we're up at the battery, there was no change. In fact, it was going down, because the bike was just running straight off the battery, so it was draining the battery. That battery's awesome because, like I said, that thing's been sitting 4 months. I had the trickle charger on it. In about 10 or 15 minutes, it was fully charged. So we're good to go there. We're going to order a voltage regulator. I'm gonna look it up. I was doing I already did a little looking around, guys, because I was pretty sure it was the voltage regulator. And I say that because I'm going to show you a picture right there. It, for some reason, I didn't put it there, but that block plate of aluminum was there. And like, I guess it looks really cool. I don't know. But heat kills these things. So now I wrote it in January, and that's when I found out the battery, the battery was not charging. Doesn't mean that's when that voltage regulator went out. So probably during the summer, guys. That's when I usually ride this thing. And yeah, I don't know why it's there, but it's not getting any airflow. It's probably trapping some heat. That probably causes it to go. Or I'm talking out of my ass, and that's not the case at all. But everybody that saw that thing was like, why is that there? Isn't that making your voltage regulator hot? And I was like, I don't know, but it's there, and it's how it's mounted. Now that I'm looking at it, it's probably holding the voltage regulator in. I bet something's cracked on that thing, and that's why that actually makes sense. So we'll check that out when we pull it off. Yeah, I'm gonna put one on order, and well, you'll see on an upcoming episode if it worked or not. We're going to do some more work to this guy. This is not the only time you're going to see, I promise you. We're going to bring it back next week. We got some more stuff we want to do, and it's the time to do it, guys. I'm not riding it. It's like 17 degrees out, so time to get work done on it. That leads me to, dare we say, guys, if you want to have the coolest thing in the parking lot, you better be ready to put in some work, and sometimes that work is figuring out how to use a meter and doing a bunch of research on your motorcycle so you can fix it yourself instead of paying Harley some astronomical price for the same results. Thanks for watching, guys.